Hi, my name is Caroline Rinaldi, and I'm joined now by our February 2023 Social Hour hosts, Dr. Richard Plunkett from the University of British Columbia and Elizabeth Prabhakar from Brunel University, London, who led our discussion today on research mentors in TBL. I'll start out just by asking you if you would like to tell us a little bit about why you chose the topic of research mentors for today.
Well, this is a topic that has come up in the committee that Elizabeth and I are both on, which is the TBLC Research and Scholarship Committee, as well as just in personal conversations, because when it comes to conducting educational research around things like TBL, a lot of us who are TBL practitioners are not necessarily well-versed in TBL research or social science research for that matter. And so we've been discussing the idea of putting together a sort of formalized program within the TBLC to link research mentors and research mentees to help promote research in TBL and in educational research. So that was sort of the main motivation for proposing this topic.
I'm for one, am very excited about this because it's something I've been looking for in my own career because my background is not in the social sciences, but I feel like it's a way for me to do scholarship, but I need that mentoring from someone that may have a little bit more experience in that, have that in their background. So I really am glad that the two of you decided on this topic for today's social hour. It was a great discussion. What points or concepts were there today in today's discussion that really stood out to you?
Well, I'll let Elizabeth answer for herself, but for me, one of the things that really surprised me was the emerging importance of having formalized relationships between mentors and mentees, because so much of my experience with collaborative research is informal, off the cuff, off the side of the desk. And it's easy to lose focus, and it's easy to lose your momentum in those kinds of situations.
Elizabeth, did you have anything, or did anything come up in today's discussion that really kind of stood out to you as being important for your topic?
Yes, I think, first of all, I miss doing research, being from a research background. So I just want to pour my energies into perhaps a different type of research. And because mainly I'm an educator now, and TBL is quite new to me, I thought this was very rich, fertile ground to pick, to take some of the pickings and turn that into a formalized research program. And I think it all started with the idea of when I met Richard in his research and scholarship committee, for which he's the chair. We were brainstorming ideas very informally. And when he said we lost momentum, we definitely did, because we started talking about so many ideas and how we could do pre-tests and post-TBL tests. And in the end, we just ran out of steam. So formalizing something with an end goal will really help me solidify and consolidate some of the ideas that I'd like to take forward and be productive. And because we're dealing with medical students, they are very intelligent creatures, are very curious. And this is not to say that the science students are not. I'm a scientist. I love science, but currently, since I'm in a medical school, it may be something that we could offer the students to do a short research project with, because they're all learning using the TBL route. So they might come up with ideas, and that's when we might try to drive that into a project. They have something called a student selected component, which is meant to be part of their curriculum in the second year, so which is next year. So I am trying to gather some ideas for and from the students. And perhaps be a mentor for students, but at the same time, if I can find a mentor for myself from this formalized program of TBL, that would also be great. So that's what I'm hoping.
That will be great. So I look forward to seeing how that's going to evolve. It sounds like a great thing for the TBLC. Just to kind of summarize or to end here, I'd like to ask if there's anything that came out of today's discussion that changed, sort of in your mind what you were thinking. Is there anything that came up that will that you will adopt out of this discussion today?
Yes, I believe I'm talking to two neuroscientists here, and I'm a microbial physiologist, and we're used to very discipline-specific research with discipline-specific assumptions about theory and knowledge and tools. And when we start doing research with human subjects in education, doing social science research, there's a new theoretical framework that we need to familiarize ourselves with, and we can start to question our assumptions about how we ask questions. And that is independent of our home discipline. And so that to me is kind of a big overall take-home message I got from today is stepping back a level and questioning our assumptions and understanding our conceptual framework for how we're going to ask education research questions that are different from our disciplines.
Great.
Correct.
Yeah. How about you, Elizabeth? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Sorry, Caroline, I jumped in. Yes, and it's exactly what Richard said. But for me, I think I want to learn about qualitative analysis, because I'm not a social scientist either. So it's good to know how to ask those questions and how to analyze the data. But I think, as we said before, instead of it becoming terribly discipline specific, I would love to work with a neuroscientist and a microbiologist. So there we are. I've already offered to, hope that you can, we can all work together. So yeah, and anyone else who wants to get involved. So I think it's been very good. And the fact that Charles Gallo, is it Gallo or Gulo, has come back, has formalized and put everything into, that framework that I'm used to, that you're used to, of a PhD program. I can now understand, draw a parallel with what the TBL research is going to be. But yes, you have to step back and the assumptions are going to be slightly different. So that's a good learning process.
Yeah, I was excited about that too, and just the ideas that were shared, and on also the interest that seemed like several people have, including you two, about the possibility of collaborating with others that might be looking for, a little bit of structure, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of sustaining that enthusiasm, and I think that we could get from working together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to thank you again for hosting today's social hour. It was really informative and motivating. I really enjoyed it. I want to also, to anyone who's watching, to put a plug in for our next social hour. It's scheduled for March 14th, 2023, and it will be hosted by Caroline Wilson, who's a chair of our membership committee. She'll be hosting it from the TBLC annual meeting in Orlando, and what she'll be doing is reviewing some highlights from the meeting. So make sure you check that out.